Can I just make a,
Yeah, FYI,
an FYI, I put the open enrollment on your desk there and got it like on May 16th.
looks like the YouTube is on now, so just FYI. Also in the board packet from last week, I did sign off on Joel Knudsen's contract, that was passed last week. And then the layoff notice was rescind. I have no idea if she signed off on it or not, but there was a email, Cassidy.
Yep, she did.
She did. Okay. Just for your guys' information. Any, committee assignments, I guess.
Parliament meeting Thursday, the 1st. It was a real short meeting. We talked about the renewal. We just started to get some of the numbers back from the underwriters, so we don't have a lot of information. Looked like on our general liability, since we got rid of the middleman, that we're gonna probably just stay flat with those numbers. But the rest of the information, we haven't got anything. And I know Judy's gonna be here next week to go over some of that, so. That was about all.
Anybody else have a committee assignment? This morning I had an audit with CSS, with the state audit office, auditor's office, and CSS, business manager and CEO. It is not public yet, so I cannot comment on the exit audit with CSS. So. I won't get this one done. If Dave can help us, discuss property at 311 Main Street in the city of Nashua, owned by the city of Nashua, for tax forgiveness.
Yeah, so I met with Matt downstairs last Monday after this happened and did some further research on it, some more poking around. Bottom line is, I think Iowa Code 445.63 mandates that you abate the taxes, because the taxes, I'll just read the code section, when taxes are owing against a parcel claimed by the state or political subdivision, which would be Nashua, and the taxes were owing before the parcel was acquired, the county treasurer shall give notice to pay them due. If the governing body fails to immediately pay the taxes, the board of supervisors shall abate all the taxes. So it looks like from the records, this property was transferred over to the city in March of 2024. Make sure I got that right. March 18, 2024, so they've had it for over a year now. And the taxes all were being paid for the last 10 years that were currently coming on. This is a tax bill that's over 10 years old. And in fact, of that $3,000, $2,400 of it is interest. So the vast majority is interest on the old tax bill that someone incurred more than a dozen years ago, close. So based upon the code, since the city owns it now, and their taxes that the city did not incur themselves, I think you have an obligation to abate the taxes.
Thank you. Is there a motion to, is it forgive?
Abate.
Abate.
Well, I'm not actually paying taxes on property at 311 Main Street, city of Nashville.
Is there a second? Also. Motion by Steve, second by Scott, to abate property taxes at resident of 311 Main Street in the city of Nashua, owned by the city of Nashua. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Oh, it's not 9:10 quite. Just for a future item, just on top of my tongue, I've been working with Travis Squires from Piper's, our bond agent. He was supposed to maybe come home today, but he has to stay in Des Moines to help with proposed new property tax bill. So he's staying in Des Moines. Tentatively, he has either Monday next week or Tuesday next week. Not the two greatest days for some of us, but we'll see what is scheduled. He's trying to get with other cities in the area that he has business also for. so he doesn't have to have one trip just for Chickasaw County. So I guess all I can do is keep you guys updated when Travis Squires is gonna be on the normal agenda or a special agenda next Tuesday. Do you guys prefer if it is on Tuesday, do we cancel Mondays, lack of business, and move it to Tuesday, or do you want to meet both days?
Judy's gonna be here next month.
Sorry, you're right, Judy's coming. No, I can't change it. We might meet 2 days. Judy is scheduled for 11 in Chickasaw County on Monday. So. All right, Dave, would you be nice to get the cemetery commission, the members?
They're ready for you guys. Yep.
Morning, guys. 9:10 this morning, we're gonna meet with Chickasaw County Pioneer Cemetery Commission, Dale and Judy Little, along with other members of the commission or other members of
There
the,
and volunteers.
and volunteers. Perfect.
You have seen
And there's a chair behind you, Dave. There's a chair.
Yeah, they can grab the chair.
All right, so this morning, we have a proclamation in front of us to proclaim May as Cemetery Appreciation Month. First of all, thank you guys for what you do for our pioneer cemeteries. They look excellent. It takes people like you guys to keep them up, and I know we need more volunteers also.
Thank you.
I'll read this proclamation. Whereas Chickasaw County people are aware of the need to preserve the rich heritage contained in Iowa Pioneers' historic cemeteries, and whereas this application of their ancestors' resting places develops a sense of pride in their ancestors' accomplishments and in their communities, and whereas pride and respect for our pioneer land leads to an interest in and concern for the future. It is with this thought in mind that we declare the month of May to the care of our pioneer cemeteries. Now therefore, we, the Chickasaw County Board of Supervisors, proclaim May as Cemetery Appreciation Month.
Yeah, and I left the dates, to
Open?
be filled in, yeah.
Perfect. We can do that. Is there a motion to proclaim May as Pioneer Cemetery Appreciation Month?
So, second.
Motion by Scott, second by Travis to proclaim May as Cemetery Appreciation Month. Is there a third discussion? Other discussion by you guys?
Not really.
We do this every year.
I know you do. There was a request by the newspaper to take a picture of this proclamation. I think we do in the past, just to get the notice out there and to truly appreciate what you guys do for our pioneer cemeteries and our ancestors. If there's nothing else, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
Have any of you guys ever been out to when they do this? I'm just curious. Oh, this is my first year,
When they-
and I am just totally amazed at all the backbreaking work
I've
that
seen a
goes
lot,
into this.
I've seen a
So,
lot of the dedications, but physically being there, no, when you guys do that work, but the product at the end is excellent.
Oh, I even got pictures. When you're done, I'd like that back.
well, if you ever get the chance and you don't have anything to do at, 8:00 on a Monday morning, we're out at Calvary right now, so, and we'll be there probably all summer, so. Oh, so I don't even know where I am, Don.
Is that the one up on Chickasaw Park?
You know where Chickasaw Park is?
Yeah. You?
Yeah.
We're gonna take a short recess of this, and we're gonna take a picture out in the hall.
Okay. By the steps like we did that,
Yep.
okay.
How you doing? I'm down, how you doing? Good.
Go ahead.
How's your weekend? Good, just go home.
Went north to Derby, so.
Oh, you did that at Derby?
No, I went to Canterbury for work.
Oh. You did say no.
How was your wish?
Oh, it was good. We had a 1-year-old birthday party.
Perfect.
Yeah, so he's the one I watch every Tuesday and Saturday. But my other son's 2-year-old came and he's walking and he was running yesterday to get her out of my arms.
I want your undivided attention, right?
Greg's just, he gets upset when he tries to get the kids and they won't play. And like, oh, we gotta play with them. So, I got goats. The kids and I were picking up goats. We got miniature penguins.
Oh, really?
So you know what the names are? Watermelon and bungham.
Oh.
So I got a little white one and a little tricolor.
They're fainting
Watermelon and bubblegum.
Yeah, they're fainting goats. And so,
So if you run up and scare them, they'll just.
yep, and I had fainting goats last year from Travis. And so I put up this fence gate for them. And it kept those in really great. And I brought the 2 little ones in yesterday. And then when I went to, oh, is this done?
Wow, thanks.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Wait. This is good.
Oh, yeah, those pictures. Where did they end up?
Oh, they're not.
Yeah.
You guys want a copy of them?
No, I just wanted it back.
Okay.
The pictures.
Okay.
If you want, we can put them on, with that booklet that we make up.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the cemeteries weren't taken care of, and just filled up and then, yeah.
You see these? Yeah, that's a.
Mascot, right? Team mascot.
How we can do it, good.
Did I get everybody? They say, man, that's a lot of stuff.
All right, back in the boardroom. Give me a second.
Sorry.
I have 918 open seal bids for county kitchen equipment. There was 5 pieces that were advertised on our county website and the bulletin board. We have the windows of the courthouse. Looks like we have the stove, that's the gas, we have electric stove, the hood, the stainless steel buffet warmer, and then the old garbage disposal. And a couple racks, drying racks. We did have 6 of them turned in by 4 o'clock last Friday. No, Todd. Schreiber, Floyd County Veterans Affairs will offer $50 for the stove, gas, and $50 for the garbage disposal with the 4 racks. So that is coming from Floyd County Veterans Affairs Office. This one's coming from Keith Alens. He does have Dash Veterans Affairs. We'll give you $25 for 2 flat pieces of stainless steel And then $5 for the triple boiler, buffet warmer,
How much was that?
$5.
Where's the piece of this?
So that was on the original one. It's not on that one, but
Okay, so just, what do you want me to put on it?
there was 2 pieces of stainless steel. Did I say that name?
Gonzalez?
Gonzalez. $20 for the white electric stove.
What was that first name?
Yeah, I got my copies of the signatures.
Okay,
They're still coming.
He only got one signed,
I can sign it too.
and I made a copy of the other one, but I don't know if Diana wants
Yeah,
a
that's
copy.
all right.
Is that good?
Okay. Here you go.
Yeah, those 2.
Well, the yellow one is for the supervisor.
Okay.
Oh, that's ours.
So that one's okay then?
Yeah,
And then,
yep, awesome.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott Swinski here. $50 for the garbage disposal with the drying racks, and $101 for the stainless steel buffet warmer. Dave Warman, steam table,
That's it.
I think that's the warmer, yeah.
$250 from Ron Owen.
And she wants the buffet? Is that the steam table?
Steam warmer.
I'm thinking that's what it is, yeah.
Because I'm like, we're trying to and so I saw.
And then the electric stove, $300 to Ron Owen. So it looks like no bid on the hood.
Last week, not this week.
What was the highest for the?
Here you go with the white stove, I got 300 for both on.
Yeah. And then she'll probably take the stainless steel buffet warmer for $250. So those 2 go to Levon, if that's what this board agrees on. The electric stove is Floyd County Veterans Affairs.
Yes.
The gas stove.
Yes.
Okay, this one.
Floyd County.
Okay, so stainless steel.
No.
Oh, that, he wanted the gas stove, right?
No, yes. Veterans Affairs wanted the gas stove for $50.
Okay.
And then what about the
And
sink?
that's Floyd County.
Yep.
And then the garbage disposal,
Yes.
that was Swansky's. I don't know.
Then I think Floyd at 50 and I'm at 50.
Yeah, you're at 50, and Floyd's at 50.
Give it to the veterans.
Give it to the veterans.
Yeah.
Are we gonna sell the 2 things that we did not have on the, probably can't, the Keith Alens, those 2 pieces of stainless steel? Dave, how big are they? 4 foot by 3 foot?
Yeah.
All they did was they protected the wall from, water spray or,
Right.
Are we going to him personally or to that VA?
he has a list of VA.
Then you probably just give it to the VA, it's a nonprofit.
What about the Floyd County one then?
You can do the same, if they're willing to pay for it, it's up to you guys.
Any feelings, any thoughts?
So the hood, there was no bids?
No bids on the hood.
I'm gonna be getting this stuff to the VA, I'm gonna be too.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
Floyd and Chickasaw.
So the only ones then that we're gonna accept today is Ohms for the electric stove for 300, the buffet cart for 250, and then
So then we got,
the gas stove goes to Floyd County,
and the garbage disposal or stainless steel.
and the garbage disposal goes to Floyd County. So these two to Floyd, these two to Ohm, and then donate the two, so we're donating the two to Floyd County, and the two pieces of stainless steel to Chickasaw County.
I would be good with that, when everybody else is. Yeah.
So the only two things that we're accepting the bids for is Levon and that.
And this is Floyd, right?
Yes.
Okay, and this did not.
So the
sell.
only thing that's not sold is the hood. Junket?
Well, is that the hood for the gas stove?
It is.
Do you think Floyd's gonna want that? They didn't, so I'm gonna get rid of it, we could ask.
We could ask.
I think that's a good idea, and if they would refuse or don't want it, I think I know of a person in town here that would take it if it's free, just to get rid of it. This person did not bid on it, but I'm pretty sure he would take it.
I mean, it's just like putting it in a dumpster, in my opinion.
Yeah.
At this point, we have no use for it, and it seems like,
And if this person refuses or does not want it, then I think it's a matter of cutting it up and scrapping it or whatever.
I think give Floyd the first opportunity.
Right, yep, I agree.
so you guys know if somebody wants to make a motion. So the gas stove and the garbage disposal and racks go to Floyd County Veterans Affairs for a donation. The two pieces of stainless steel goes to Chickasaw County Veterans Affairs, Keith Alens for no cost. And then the electric stove and the electric warmer goes to Levon Ohm.
Right.
One for $300 and one for $250.
So should we have 3 different motions, you think, or just one?
So if you guys, you want 3 separate ones or?
I'll make a motion for all that.
I'll second.
Motion by Travis, second by Isaac. To donate the gas stove and the garbage disposal with racks, stainless steel, to Floyd County Veterans Affairs at no cost. The 2 pieces of stainless steel that was behind that table to Chickasaw County Veterans Affairs, Keith Alens at no cost. And then accept the bids for the electric stove from Levon Ohm at 300.
Yes, 300.
And then the stainless steel buffet warmer for 250 to Levon Ohm. No sale on the hood, but offer it to Floyd County Veterans Affairs if they don't want to scrap it or take it off the county hands, Dave. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Any discussion? Not hearing any, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, anybody opposed, motion carried. 9:29, a little bit behind here, Dave, sorry.
That's all right.
Meet with custodian Dave Gorman. Got some, let's say some hot topics going on. So the first thing is discuss the courthouse air conditioner.
Yes, correct. Just to give the board an update here, we filled the air conditioner on the roof for the courthouse last week to start the air conditioners and ran into some issues where the unit on the roof was shutting off intermittently. The last time it shut off, McGage's guys could not get it to run at all. And through some diagnostics that they did on the unit, they found out that there was a couple of water flow switches that were failed on the unit. And at that point in talking to them, they didn't even know if they could get the switches anymore because the unit is about 20 We looked it up and it's actually not as old as I thought, but it's 25 years old. With that being said, within 5 years or so, they indicated to me that the parts were probably gonna be pretty hard to come by. I talked to Mick Gage this morning, they did find the switches and they're on their way, they should be here today. And they'll install them as soon as they get here, and then we should be past this issue, which is actually good news from what we thought the other day. But in talking to Mick and his guys, they informed me that it would be a good idea to advise the board that that unit is getting enough age on it that we should probably start, however it can be done to budget for a new unit up there on the roof. Now, the cost of that, Mick didn't know, guessing anywhere from 50 to 100,000. By the time you purchased the unit, got a crane service here to take the old one off and put the new one up, and all the hookups that go along with it. Which, hooking up that unit isn't a real big deal, you're just connecting 2 water lines and then the electrical to it and it's back up and running. But with all of this being said, this is an issue with this air conditioner where, let's just say hypothetically, this air conditioner died in July, and we don't have anything planned out ahead of time. We're basically done cooling for the rest of the season because it's gonna take X amount of time to get a new unit spec'd out, ordered, get it here, get a crane service here, get it up on the roof and get it hooked up. So it's a rather in-depth process to get the old one off and the new one up there. I mean, as far as the planning goes. So, we're all pretty confident that the unit will last this year, hopefully another year or whatever, but, it's one of those deals where you basically gotta be proactive instead of reactive, or you're gonna be sitting with no air conditioning.
And you're gonna upset the public, the staff, the court system staff. I think the best timing, there's no good timing for this, but it would be like in October, November.
Right. And I've had this, when I think of bigger projects that might be lying ahead, this one always seems to be the one that pops into my head that, it's getting pretty old and we don't know how long it's gonna last. And it's like they said, it could last 2 more years, it could last 5 or 10. But it all kind of hinges on the fact that it's getting old enough that parts are gonna start getting hard to come by, so.
Because it would be very hard to schedule in the heat of the winter, or heat of the summer.
Correct, yeah, like I said, if it would die in July and we haven't done anything, the rest of the summer, we're without air. I mean, it's pretty much a done deal, so.
So in the current budget, I'm not asking the board today to go out for bids, but in the current budget, me and Sheila found about $55,000 in general service, 51 department. That gives us 15,000 on building repairs and maintenance, and about 30,000 for miscellaneous repairs and maintenance. And then we took some that's left in there, building perimeter improvement, paving sidewalk 5,000, and then machinery and equipment 2,500. Those 5 line items equal about $55,000. They're not pulling next year's budget. Didn't know if we could try to do something now and get something coming and bid something. I know the private auditor does not like to use 2 fiscal years. Or just maybe you have to do a budget amendment sometime in July or August for this capital project improvement.
And just to add to it, the compressors in the unit up on the roof, I think all of them have been replaced within the last 10 years. So I think the compressors were okay on, which is a major part of the way that operates. And in talking to Mick's guys, they seem to think that they're not real concerned that it's gonna give it up and just die out and we'll be without. But like they said, it is a good thing to probably plan out here in the next year or 2 to get a new unit. And like I said, they didn't have an actual dollar. just asked them for kind of a rough estimate, and they just gave the figure of somewhere between 50 and 100,000, so. 50 on the low end, probably 100 on the high.
And the compressors run off of 2 each. I know one time we only ran 2 compressors because the other 2 failed.
Yes, there's actually 4 compressors up there, and this unit will run on 2 or 4, either one. It's just gonna work it really hard if it's running on 2 and not 4, because they alternate as it kicks on, so.
So I guess this is an FYI, again, it seems like we've talked about this one. But one of these days, it will not start or kick out. And once it kicks out, like you're right, it'll be a month to 2 month process to get something here.
Right. And they seem to think that we're okay right now. It's not like, oh my gosh, you gotta get something going right away, but in the near future, planning for that would probably be a smart move, so.
Any discussion by board members? Knowing with people.
Well, would it hurt to go out and see what it would cost for one?
Well, that's a first process, yes, Travis.
What I mean,
But it's like, we're almost at the end of the fiscal year. Do we wait for next fiscal year? Do we do a budget amendment? Because we know this is not in the budget. But we also know that there's some money left in this budget.
but what I'm getting at is, at least then we know rough numbers.
Yeah, if we do it in a year and a half or 2, that number's gonna change.
That's true.
We need something. We need a quote from somebody to give us a ballpark of what it would cost.
At this point, knowing what they told me the other day and this morning, I feel pretty confident we'll be okay with it this summer. But it might be something to look at, like, after the new budget starts in July.
Yeah, I think we should look at it in the new fiscal year.
August, September-ish,
Yeah.
or you can put it in March. Any other comments, concerns? Mr. Attorney, how would we get a closer quote? So we know what the budget, if we had a budget amendment, say in July, just budget high and hopefully it comes in low.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know how you put it out for bids right now. The problem is everyone's exposed to bid prices, and then when you want to bid it for real, you're.
And I believe on those units, if I understood them right, Train is the company that manufactures these units. And it sounds like they build them as needed. They don't have like a stockpile of them. So that probably adds to the length of time, going into the project, so.
All right, I'll work with Dave Gorman to see what we can come closer with. You probably see this back again in July unless something happens before then.
Yeah, I think we're okay now. Luckily, they had the parts.
You know any courthouses locally that changed them out recently? That would possibly let us know a thing.
So it's more of a compressor chiller, right?
Yeah.
Just forcing.
Yeah, basically, it's just a big water cooler that sits up on the roof, and it's like the radiator in your car, or the water flows, gets cool, it gains heat as it goes through the building, comes back up and gets cooled, so.
I don't think a lot of the older courthouses have that radiator for heat and cooling for air.
Yeah.
They don't have ductwork and stuff, but
Right.
they don't know who would have one. Is it?
Mick Gage told me that, the ethanol plant has one that's basically the same age as ours.
Mm.
Now, they haven't put in a new one lately. I could ask Mick if they have installed one in the last couple of years and roughly how much that would have been, for this size. That's the problem. There's so many different sizes that it varies from size to size, I'm sure, so.
All right, if there's nothing else on that, move on to the next, discuss adding more handicap parking at the Heritage Center.
Yes, in talking to Deb Razaki, we have looked at kind of how the patterns of where people park out at the Heritage in the parking lot there go. We have some veterans that are not necessarily handicapped, but have a need to park a little bit closer to the door than what they're able to. So we thought of adding some gravel to the south end of the parking lot out there and make maybe 3 more parking spots there, just gravel, so that the veterans that come in that have a few difficulties navigating or whatever, have a little closer access to the door. I talked to Ricky Rozanki the other day, because he's kind of one of the go-to guys as far as doing the yard projects out there, the more in-depth stuff. He indicated, we kind of stepped it off. He gave me a rough estimate of around $1,500 to build up the area of land that we're looking at, level it off, and then add gravel and have it a base that it's really firm for parking and it's not gonna wash away, so. Now, we might be able to.
This little drawing, Dave, would be better. So pretty much add more rock where the overhead door is. You want to do that?
No,
Is
actually,
that south of the current one? Here's the current handicap one. You're gonna have rock here,
yes, yep, correct, yep.
so this is south.
Yep, you were right.
So pretty much just getting more rock where his overhead door is.
It'd be to the east of the overhead door of the garage, but we'll leave enough area to get trucks and whatever in and out of the garage. But it would be adding parking for some of these guys, and it would be closer to the back door, but not interfering with the handicap spot.
Or the dumpster, or.
Correct. And this would help in the wintertime too, because sometimes that parking lot, in the wintertime, we try as hard as we can. Sometimes it's a sloppy mess, then it's frozen, and then it's thawing again, and whatever. This will get some of those guys closer to the door, so it's not such a hazard on those instances in the wintertime where you cannot be out there babysitting it 24 hours a day to try to keep it not slick and whatever, so.
You guys allow Dave to add more parking spots for, we're not gonna call it handicap though, just
No.
add more parking.
Right. There's, I think, instances where there are people out there that don't necessarily have a handicap sticker on their car, but yet it would sure help them to be closer to the door, so.
We able to regulate those parking spots so other folks are not using them? I mean, can we put up signs that say for veterans only, or like you see at some of the stores or whatnot, or how are we gonna, my only concern is you build this and then John Doe or Jane Doe decides they're gonna park there because they're there at 6 o'clock in the morning or 7:30 before anyone else, or however. That's my only concern.
I think that would be a definite good idea to just put veterans parking there on the new spots that we're talking about.
You guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Here's a consensus to move with this additional parking. Travis?
Yeah.
Scott? Isaac?
Yeah.
And Steve. Go ahead, Dave. You have the board's consents. The next thing is discuss volunteer helping with lawn care on county grounds.
Yes, last week, I was approached by a former part-time employee that retired about 6 years ago, is looking for something to do and knew that we were without part-time people now due to the budget cuts. And he has volunteered his services to mow the courthouse and the public health buildings free of charge, just for something to do. I said I'd bring it up to the board. I'm okay with it if you guys are. And he knows what to do because he's been here before, so.
Yeah.
And he indicated that he probably wouldn't be able to start until the end of May.
So this, we put this on just because we do have the volunteer. It's not our handbook, but we could look at that one like the county conservation did. This one is not gonna be forfeiting any camping fees. Ours would be strictly volunteer. Sign the waiver, sign the liability form like Heartland provided for them. Under Dave's leadership, supervision. So anything else? I mean, you guys wanna move ahead with this, or? He knows the courthouse grounds.
Yeah, this former employee, worked here for about 5 years. So, he's well aware of, you know, how we mow it, what the details are. He's just basically looking for something to do to fill his days up every once in a while, have something to do. So.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Move forward. So I guess we'll work on some policies and see if we can copy our county conservation volunteer handbook. And anybody else have a concern with it?
Okay.
Nothing's finalized yet. We have to see the handbook and we have to
Right.
make sure we get that all done with Heartland.
I'll be back up next week for one other item, so I guess we can revisit that then.
Any department update on anything else?
No, other than the air conditioner, everything else has been going pretty well. The grass is growing very fast, so we're doing a lot of mowing, and between Deb and I, we're keeping up on everything and that we need to, and I think we're doing okay.
Next week's agenda item would be the Veterans Memorial Day.
Yep.
And the courthouse grounds.
Yep.
All right, any other questions for head custodian Dave? If not, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
9:47, meet with engineer Warren Munson. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning, everyone.
We'll go down the list here. Review employment contract with county engineer for fiscal year 2026. In his current contract, he is supposed to meet with us annually for a performance review. I guess you guys have anything that's on or anything you want to discuss with Roman? I'm all good.
Any questions, concerns? I guess for my request is 3%, following in line with the rest of the non-union employees, not included elected officials, of course, but staying in line with the rest of my staff. It's a non-union. Just for reference, still well below the average. For FY25, the average in the state was about $139,000 a year, so we're still 12,000 below that, and that's prior to any raises given throughout the state. So I feel it's a fair wage for myself as well as the county. So.
I did look at that last night. I apologize. You have the date of April 5th on the bottom where we signed.
No, sorry.
So that needs to be corrected. Just so that we are supposed to do a professional review with you, getting goals for the secondary roads.
Well, we keep going after more and more grants, try to get extra money to come into the county. I feel like we've gone, when I started, we went from 100 years plus of experience to, at the time it was mine and Renee at about 9-10 years total. So, 2 new foremen in my time that, some of the best decisions I've made, making Sam and Tyler, the positions they're in. So I guess keep moving forward the way we have been. Our bridge crew is building structures we haven't in a long time, new structures, I guess expanding our capabilities, trying to do things for cheaper than we can otherwise. We got TIF coming up, we got more grant applications coming up. I don't know what the new administration, if there's gonna be new opportunities in regards to that or less, who knows, time will tell, but TIF, if we move forward with a lot of these projects, it's adding a lot of workload to what we're normally doing, so yeah, a lot in the future.
I'm looking forward to it. Otherwise, on the contract, it's a modification for fiscal year 2026, because your current contract goes into for 3 years by the previous board. Like he stated a 3% increase.
Yep.
On the base. No other changes to his contract as noted. Just please change the document to May 5th. If there's not any other discussion, county engineer is asking for a 3% on July 1st. If there is nothing else for his review, or we did change, yeah, so the last sentence, the board will meet with the engineer prior to July 1st, 2026 to determine the engineer's salary for the next fiscal year. But we also left in there that the review shall be done annually. Any other discussion about the employment contract and agreement modification for fiscal year 2026 for Roman Lutz? If not, is there a motion to approve the employment contract and agreement for county engineer Roman Lutz?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Steve, second by Isaac, to approve the employment contract and agreement modification for fiscal 26 with Roman C. Lansing, professional engineer. The only thing I ask is to change that date to May 5th.
Yeah, when I get out of here, I can quick do it and bring it back in if you want.
Nope, that'll work. Any other discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call. Steve?
Aye.
Isaac?
Aye.
Travis?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Jake? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you, Roman.
Thank you, guys.
Next thing is review and approve permission to enter premises agreement with John Eichenberger for Chickasaw County Bridge Replacement Project LFM/FY2603 7X19.
So this is basically just in case we need extra room for Bridge 365, 335 replacement projects that our crews will be doing. Basically, if we need extra room for excavator to move around or anything outside of our right of way, granting access, and then of course, if there's any damage, we would repair it. Don't anticipate going out there at all, but it's kind of just in case the day comes, we have permission instead of trying to find somebody on short notice.
Is there a motion to approve and authorize chair's signature on premise to enter?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Scott, seconded by Travis. This agreement is with John Eichenberger.
Yep.
Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried.
That's the next.
And the second one is review and approve permission to enter premise agreement with Alice Barloon Trust for Chickasaw County Bridge Replacement Project LFY2602 73-19.
Same concept, different location, different project. Again, our crews are doing it. This is on 150th Street east of Windsor, north side. We'll have more of these coming in. Ben and Liza have been sending them out, and as they receive them, I've just been getting them approved, so. And that's with Alice Barloon Trust.
So
Is there a second?
Second.
And now it's authorized.
Authorized chair signature. Motion by Travis, second by Steve, to approve permission to enter premises of agreement with Alice Barloon Trust. Authorized chair signature. Any discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Department update.
So last week, blades were out about 50% of the time, depending on weather. Other half the time, they were hauling spot rock, locations all over the county. Some hauling to our yard in New Hampton on a rainy day, retrieving shoulders on hard surface roads. West half of the county is underway. East half was done. Contract rock update. It sounds like the west half of the county may start this mid to late week, with the east half of the county being 1 to 2 weeks after. So hopefully, yeah, we'll see west half start around Wednesday. Some of the shop stuff, We did have a leak at the Fredericksburg shop roof. They got that tarred up, some of the vents, but the moisture has gotten into the insulation being old there. Sam's gonna look more into it. I gave him some other options, and I don't know there with the city involvement too. It might be something we need to discuss with them on options and moving forward on that. We did get Alta Vista shop door repair completed. That needed to be done prior to, Northeast Iowa Spray Foam will be coming in to do new exterior steel and spray foaming the interior. That should be coming up here. They said prior to the fiscal year they'd be done, so any day now they should be moving in. Some of the big construction projects, Bridge 2400 on the Caldwell Blacktop, bridge demolition is in progress. I was doing a bunch of calculations for beam seat, haunch and embedment for when we do actually set the beams, which is probably a few months from now, but I had it on my mind, so I got it done. Bridge 0270 project on 300th east of U56. East and west pile driving is completed. They had a slow week last week with worker availability, but we'll be forming abutments and placing steel, probably pouring concrete, might even start on the piers with the water starting to go down. They might want to get those done before a chance that it could come up again, so that's moving along. Kenwood Avenue paving project, of course, Kroll completed the main line the week prior to last. Aside from the railroad approaches, which they're planning on pouring on Wednesday, short length on each side that's reinforced. They need the railroad there for safety. Subdrain, longitudinal subdrain is completed, and the outlets for that subdrain are completed. Many of the driveways are paved. Actually, now all the driveways are paved. Every driveway is done. Shouldering, they were planning on waiting till the end of the week, I believe, but now they might be starting up today. Ben just called me right before I came in here, so give it a week, 2 weeks, we'll probably be seeing that project open up. It's been going really well, so I would assume that the last little bit of it's gonna follow that same trend. Update on the TR 797 research project with Iowa State and Michigan State. We had a Zoom meeting last week. Looking like June 3rd we'll be doing that. So we're gonna be doing the mile north of Jericho Blacktop on Pembroke. There'll be 4 plot sections. One's a control, 3 are different blends of aggregates. So that we'll be doing that with our crews. He's actually my old professor. Jeremy Ashlock is approaching the Iowa Highway Research Board to cover our Delta costs. So we'll get determination on that. I think he said that meeting was this week. Hopefully they'll cover anything above and beyond what we usually pay for it, but just so everyone knows that's gonna be coming up. We'll maintain access to local residents, but the road will be closed to through traffic. So I would anticipate 3, 4, maybe 5 days for that whole project, depending on what we got for weather. We did have a tile crossing spring a leak on V56. It was eating dirt. It was about 3 o'clock, day 2 weeks ago, or less, week and a half ago. Myself, Tyler, Larry Busta and Tim Glazer went up there, stayed a little late after to get it plugged up. But knowing that it was there, you gotta get it repaired, and we're responsible for existing crossing. So being as it's under V56, about 10 feet down, we're gonna have a directional boring company put that crossing in, and the cost is right around $9,000. So just giving you a heads up, that stuff isn't cheap. Responsible for it, so.
They're gonna be double.
It's gonna be Schedule 80 PVC. So, better,
Yeah.
which I've personally never seen that except on like YouTube. So I'm really curious to see how that goes. I guess the week before was more of the same, a lot of spot rocks. The week prior was wetter, so we were a little bit more inhibited on blading. Of course, purchase orders for all the new equipment. Sam got those submitted for FY26 equipment. Of course, Bridge 2400 Caldwell Blacktop, that was closed on April 28th. A lot of design and development work. We're trying to finalize our survey on Bridge 0690 over the Wapsie down south, but water has been an issue. Just gotta wait for some water to go down to get our ground shots. But yeah, a lot of design. We did get all of our hazardous material analysis done on Bridge 2000, Bridge 1300, and Bridge 2770 coming up in the next 2 years. So some of them do have exceeding levels of chromium, lead paint. Basically, we're just going through the motions, making sure everything's right on that, and then we'll have notes in the plans, and certified licensed removal company will have to be present or part of that removal process. So Renee did hold the ICEOO District 2 spring meeting for that organization in New Hampton. She's part of that committee, so that was on 4/25. From what I hear, she did a good job with it, so that's the office of organizers, office administrators. That's all I got for department update.
You have a ETA of when they're gonna work on that, just Oxbow B22 and then one up north of Little Turkey.
So we're gonna do, B22 will be the first one out of the gate. I might move our crew up there late June, to get the removals done. We have a late start date for the crane on July 8th or around there, so I would anticipate currently mid to late June, close it. I would suspect about a month, maybe late July, month and a half, that we'd open it back up, but we'd leave gravel. So we did have Heartland, they got the winning quote to put asphalt in that 90, 100-foot patch that we'll need. But I want that to get beat down a little bit. So we'll open it up probably in July at some point, but it'll have a patch of gravel. We'll put loose gravel signs ahead, warning signs. And then we'll come back and pave that with Heartland probably in September, October. The Little Turkey ones, being as Bridge 2000 on Vanderbilt is scheduled to be let next January, and chances are around this time that would be being constructed. We're gonna do Windsor first, that way those two roads aren't closed at the same time. Cause I'm hoping to get all three done this construction season, but if we get the Alta Vista Bridge done, then we go to the one on Windsor by Little Turkey. We're gonna check, see what weather is, see where we're at in the year, cause I don't wanna pour concrete in November and risk leaving that bridge, maybe we can't pour and then it's closed all year long, so. Hopefully we'll get all three done, otherwise the one on 150th might be in spring of 25 or 26. I mean. It all depends on how quick we move on the other ones.
But it could be 22 could be closed for a month.
Yep, probably I'd say just safely mid-June through late July. And then there'll be a period where we'll probably close it for that day to get asphalt in, or 2 days. And I think on that, for the B22 one, we're gonna detour on gravel, because I really find it hard to believe anyone's gonna go to Elma and then down through Alta Vista. We will put gravel detour ahead, so people at Highway 63 and Alta Vista, they can discern if they wanna find another route. It's just one of them things, it's not too long of a project and no one's more than likely gonna follow it anyways, so.
And then you'll put dust control at the corners and
Yeah.
residents or no?
Yep, we'll see what the weather brings, but yes, more than likely.
Any other questions for Roman? Thank you. Here's these two.
Yep, I'll get that other one and bring it back in.
All right, we've gone to review requests for proposals, RFP. We'll do the accounting first. So we all know that the current audit service provider, Thornier & Company, is done after the fiscal year that we are currently in. So I know we had some issues, so say July 2nd, we had an issue with the new budget. We had nobody under contract, so we are going out for an RFP in May here. In the past, we've always submitted 3 requests. One from Garner and Company, one from Hacker Nelson, and then one we submit to the state of Iowa auditor. Their response usually is that they're too busy and they reject the offer. Do you guys know of anybody else in Iowa that's certified CPA that we could send this RFP out to? I know I was talking to the county auditor, Sheila. Bremer County uses somebody else, but
I can check into it some more.
we can just submit one
Yeah,
and see if they want to bid on it.
okay.
We usually go out for 3 years, so this will be fiscal year ending 26, 27, and 28 June. You guys got a copy of the 9-page request for proposal that was sent out in August of 2022. Just need some direction on changing the dates. Like I said, we really wanted to get them back by July 1st, so maybe change the dates for like June 20th that they're due back by. Unless you guys think that they should be back sooner, so we can award something on the 23rd and 30th. This is not cheap. We know that costs are going up. I don't know what the current one is, like $27,000.
Right.
All we can do is see what's out there and see who bids it. You guys okay with the June 13th?
I had one date right.
And we did. June 13th, they're due back by the auditor's office. In Shawnee Corner, they put sealed proposals. It says it right there on page 1 that this RFP is for the,
You had it back by June 13th?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
June 20th or June 13th?
I think 12 or 13.
Earlier, we'll extra time.
What's that?
Give us a little extra time.
Okay, so June 13th. Do you guys want presentations from the companies? Sometimes we do those to see what they have to offer, give or take somebody's. So whoever bids it, you guys want presentations on the 16th? If they present an RFP, they should probably schedule an in-person presentation on the 16th or the 23rd. Give us a week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the
Present.
23rd. Give them the option of 2 different Mondays.
Okay. But then again, when we open them, we gotta open them all together, but they can present either on the 16th or 23rd. Or it works for them. What else? We get all this shit.
And then you'll award it at the end of
We will award it on the 23rd.
the 23rd.
Yeah. So whoever bids them, we would like to see in-person presentations either on the 16th or the 23rd. We'll open them on the 16th. Anything else we need? Any other company that we want to send them to? So they're due back by June 13th at 4 o'clock in the county auditor's office. They can be mailed, they can be dropped off. I don't think any laws change, that they have to provide anything else, like a gap report, or that's all in there. Does you want to try and go up to the 4th one, if you guys know one, or do you want to just send it to the one that Brigham uses too, and see what they bid back?
Okay, yeah.
Does that work?
I'll send, so I'll send 4.
Send 4 out.
Yeah.
Anything else with the auditing RFP? All right, moving on to the HR.
And all I could find for that one from past, I didn't find a cover letter.
Yeah.
I thought I gave you something, did I give you this? Cause this is what I found in, did you get?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I just need to make a cover letter like this.
Yeah, just over time, so let's talk about the RFP, request for proposals for professional HR. I'll start, we've been here and there, and it's not just for us, but it's also for county employees, so they know they have somebody to go to, a third party, if there's internal issues within the department or within the county. But they are under contract with the Board of Supervisors. So currently we have Ayers and Cooney, which is usually Mike or Ann as the legal staff. We've had them, I believe, now for 5, maybe 6 years. Prior to that, we had Ruth and Associates. We had him for about 10 years prior to that. I don't know before that. He was not an attorney. Just the ups and downs, the pros, cons. You know, there is some advantages to having an attorney to go into closed sessions. Remember, union negotiation is always exempt during negotiation time. So those are not in open anyway. Back in the day, we had 5 unions, now we only have 2. Maybe more to come, who knows?
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
I personally believe that it's good to have someone on call for all the employees and myself, or just to, I know who I'm gonna talk to right away. It figures out to like 1,800 per month
It is.
for 12 months, like 20-some thousand it saves versus having like some of the counties I've noticed have been getting an HR person. And so I think it's cheaper than having that one person, because I don't think our county would work. Because Donna does a lot of the HR. And it's nice just to have someone to call and bounce things off of it.
I think it's due diligence, I think we need people to show up to present what they have to offer, nothing with our current provider. But they do an excellent job. But what else is out there? Do we need somebody like in the county once a month that's actually physically in the county so people can talk to them face to face? There's a list of HRs. There's people from Cedar Rapids and Des Moines.
It definitely won't hurt to go out, throw it out there, to everybody.
And just come up sometime in June also to present something on what they provide and what they have to offer. I know we talked, Scott, before, it was Brent Henders willing to do it. I talked to him too, and he is willing to do it.
Well, I think we gotta definitely just send one to him, and I mean, and what he comes back with, just, to me, Brent makes more sense since he's part only. If our issues end up going down that road, we're all right there at the same.
So do you guys want me to look up one, or is Brent from Cedar Rapids?
No, Brent's from Hoskins and
Hawkins and Junior.
there you go. Des Moines. And just send someone to, Ayers and Cooney again, and not trying to, yes, it's always good to check financial side of it too, is sometimes cheaper is not better, but,
How long was the price done, 1,800 a month?
since we've had them for the 5 years.
Yeah. I think we're getting a good deal.
Could have cautioned you.
Well, and I get that.
I think this board has, functioned much better recently, but there definitely is, a perception out there, even from the people that I talk to, just in my travels. So, take that for what it is. But I know cost of professional services, talk about the accounting services are gonna go up, so you might have a little bit of sticker shock if you go out. Or it's gonna be, and I'm certainly willing to help however I can. This is a pretty specialized area of the law, like you say, you don't need an attorney to do it. A lot of folks have an in-house person. I personally think it's better to have an outside person because then they're not involved with everybody else and.
I really,
It's no
Yeah.
nepotism.
Correct, yep. I think it makes more sense that direction, quite frankly, but at what cost?
Ayers and Cooney has not reached out to me or anybody else, I believe, for a change of price. It's just, we did this like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and the price was the same. It was kind of a negotiation, they picked up union negotiation. Remember, we have a 3-year contract in place. They do all the work up front, I believe, but then if people have a breach of contract or information, then they work with us against the union reps, I guess we put it that way. But those contracts are in place now for another 1.5 years, no, 2 years actually. Yeah, we're just finishing up the first year of the 3 years.
So are you saying we're locked in?
We are locking those union contracts.
Well, the union contract, yeah.
Not the HR, but the union, yeah.
Do we have to send this out for bid?
You don't have to, you can just have presentations of what other people have to offer too. Sometimes it's just check and balance, see if we are getting what we are actually saying we are getting.
What are our other counties? I know Baylor's does quite a bit across the state, cities and counties, but do you know what our neighbors are using? Are they using
I know a couple of them are looking, well, one's looking into, maybe hiring someone, and they use Ehlers and putting, they're on an on-call basis, so if they use them, they pay for it, they don't have like a continuous service.
I think when Chicago's going out, they used to use Anderson Law Firm, but I think they got low numbers too in the law firm, so I think they're going out now for an RFP for HR.
And
Howard uses, Mike and that team. Wake County,
I don't know for sure.
Sure if they use, I wanna say Baylor's included, but I'm not positive. I can't think of the firm, but I know there's another one, a lot of the cities use Amy Reasoner. Cedar Rapids, I can't think of the firm she's doing good.
don't have to, but it doesn't hurt to see what else.
So we're gonna do consensus.
You guys wanna go out for an RFP for HR?
just in general, and I guess I'm involved in a lot of these, so it ebbs and flows, which is probably a tough question to answer, but how much time does this, I mean, it certainly isn't steady. I think there are probably months or quarters or years where there's a lot more than others. How are you gonna structure it? You're gonna ask for an hourly rate? Are you gonna ask for a flat rate the same we have it now, or are you gonna let them decide how they wanna bid it, or I guess that's one of my questions.
I think they've always offered, both,
Okay, yeah, I don't know what the industry standard is, the industry standard is a flat rate or what?
because usually it's unlimited within that scope of the RFP.
Okay.
And we have a nice, was it 3 pages long RFP that's on file.
So you're amazing.
It's just, number 25, provide at least 3 references of former clients who terminated their services with your firm in the past 12 months. Reasons why, is there consensus to go out for an RFP for HR services / union contracts? Travis?
It's more hurt.
Scott?
Yeah, I think we should.
Isaac?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yeah,
Who do we want to send to? I know that if you guys are okay, we can just send to the 2 that are in Cedar Rapids. Lynch, Dallas, I believe, is some counties uses.
Yeah.
And then Amy,
I think she's better than Dallas.
Lynch,
I
Dallas.
think that's.
I think she
I was
is.
gonna say that, I think that's the name of the first.
And then Ehlers and then Hoskins, those
Is that
2.
right?
Yeah. You guys wanted to see what Roofing Associates is around, or you don't really want to now an attorney? I think you can present and see if we have,
Oh, so that.
he's an HR, he teaches at some colleges. And there's only about, I hate to say, there's only about 5 people in the county that know of him. We've changed that staff that much already in the last 9 years. Because the 4 of you don't know who this individual is. But maybe he might spark something, and anyone that will present. So the time frame, you guys want to do this again in June 16th, June 9th? Give them a month to get them back. This one could be like June 6th or even May 30th. I'm gonna open them up on the 2nd for presentations.
So May 30th, so if I get them by the end of this week.
He doesn't do it.
Current contract with Ayers, and so what's the,
So that's the thing that we don't have, Dave. We don't have a contract with them.
all right, so there's no, that
We just awarded-
termination period, or how long, or what?
No. So it's one of those
This
things.
seems to be at least.
It's just a handshake at one point, or
I
I
think
think it was a call,
handshake.
we're gonna do
Maybe
this.
they do have a signed contract, but we'll look into that.
Okay,
I know there was no, it was on a year-to-year basis.
Yeah.
okay, so then we're talking about maybe getting them up by the end of this week.
Get them up this week and get them back by May 30th. Open them up on the 2nd and then presentation 2nd or 9th.
So do you want presentations second night?
You just send us the account, I mean, you're not gonna get it for a while, as slow as the mail is, so, I mean, if that's how you're sending it by mail, I don't know, maybe send it by email and mail, but.
It doesn't really the same dates as HR. Or sorry, as auditing. 13th, 16th, 23rd.
The same dates?
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
Same dates as
Oh,
auditing.
good.
Sorry. Make it simple.
Okay, and you're okay to use this one?
That article. So then the last one that's not on the agenda, but we'll discuss future agenda items. Contracted service is our IT. We'll put that on. We have, in my life up here, we've never went out for an RFP. We've always used the same individual. We'll put on that for next week to discuss either see his continued contract or have discussion on it. I guess we'll put that there. Is there anything else for you to discuss future agenda items? We have the TIF potentially the 12th or the 13th, and then Dave Gorman needs to be on for permission on the courthouse grounds. Anything else that we are missing or you guys would like to see? If you find out anything, bring it to my attention or Sheila's, and we will surely act. Otherwise, at 10:22, is there a motion to adjourn?
No.
Moved by Travis, second by Isaac to adjourn at 10:22. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carried. Here is Roman's contract, please.
Then I need to make them.